Faith and Light of the World series. These beautifully illustrated books bring the life of Christ and the teachings of the Church to life for children and families alike. Reverent artwork, engaging stories, and thoughtful activities inspire young hearts to understand the faith and grow in love for it. Find these and more at castleofgrace.com, where faith and family meet in every page. That's castleofgrace.com.
Do you want to help confront the nefarious attacks on the unborn in our families? Would you like to join the fight without spending time or money? The Pro-Life Legal Defense Fund is offering listeners a free pro-life, pro-mother, pro-child, and pro-father flag for you to fly at homes, churches, and businesses. By flying a flag, you have the chance to influence minds and save lives. Go to PLLDF.org for a free flag. That's PLLDF.org. Don't delay. There's strength in numbers, and our nation is waiting.
This is Jesuit Father Robert McTague, your daily host of the Catholic Current. Join me on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern to meet Dutch author Robert Luznik. We'll be talking about failing institutions. Should they be abandoned or saved? Hear it all in the Catholic Current on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, coming to you from the Station of the Cross and the iCatholic Radio mobile app.
We Catholics have been given an incredible gift, the papacy, established by Christ himself while he walked on this earth. It is the visible guarantee of unity, truth, and salvation until he comes again. Our blessed Lord did not leave us wandering in theological darkness after he ascended into heaven. He gave us Peter and his successors to teach with authority and to shepherd with divine mandate. The Pope is the principle of unity in the Church. No Pope, no unity. It's that simple. Christ came to redeem us from sin, but only if we believe and obey him. That obedience is not abstract. It is concrete. It means following Peter.
That's Sermons for Everyday Living, weekdays from 6 to 7 a.m. Eastern on the Station of the Cross.
Here's the question for your non-Catholic friend. Understanding Melchizedek, Malachi, and Mass seem quite mysterious to most, even including Bible students. How about you? Well, here's your 3 best friendship tools for Catholic evangelism. Number 1, Melchizedek. He's the very first priest in biblical history. Though he's a prefigurement of Jesus' priesthood, Melchizedek was a person. To Abraham, he presented bread and wine, which are the biblical elements of his sacrifice, and now presented at a Catholic Mass. Secondly, Malachi. He follows up some 3,000 years later and says, "In every place incense shall be offered to my name in a pure offering." It is understood that the pure offering would be the sacrificial body and blood of Christ that is confected on every Catholic altar. Prophetically, this would replace and fulfill the ineffective temple sacrifices. And thirdly, my pesky comeback. That pure and holy sacrifice is not grape juice and a wafer at a non-Catholic communion service. Also, those elements are not Jesus' body, and they surely aren't Jesus' blood. However, I am glad to say that some grape juice and a wafer is a really nice summertime refreshment. Find me online at Smarty Pants Catholic Evangelism.
Hi, Joe McClane here, host of A Catholic Take, heard on the Station of the Cross each weekday at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's a bold synthesis of information and inspiration, keeping you up to date on the news and issues that you might have missed from a courageous Catholic perspective. That's A Catholic Take, weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network and the iCatholic Radio mobile app. Download it today and share it with a friend. God love you.
The Adoration Sodality of the Poor Clares of Perpetual Adoration at the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament in Hanceville, Alabama, is a prayer group for laity, priests, and religious brothers and sisters to spiritually join in the nuns' mission of adoring our Lord Jesus Christ in the Holy Eucharist. Members commit themselves to an hour of Eucharistic adoration on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis at a monstrance or tabernacle at the parish of their choice. Learn more about becoming a member at iadorethee.com.
This is Joe McClane, and you're listening to the Station of the Cross, proclaiming the fullness of the truth with clarity and charity.
Heard around the world on your Android and Apple mobile devices.
Go into the world and and tell every man that you meet, there is a man on the cross.
A Catholic Take. What you need to know right now. A bold synthesis of inspiration and information. Keeping you up to date on the news and issues from a courageous Catholic perspective.
A Catholic Take with Joe McClane starts now.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClane. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you today. We're going to be talking about why the Israeli army decided to stop Catholics, Christians, in one of the last Christian villages in the Holy Land from a Marian procession. They even used a stun grenade, flew helicopters over the people. Why would they do this? We have somebody who was there, an eyewitness to this event. They're going to be on the team with us at 30 past the hour. Alexandrya Pouliot from the Vulnerable People Project. She's the manager of their Middle East projects. She's going to catch us up to what happened, how Cardinal Pizzaballa had to get involved, and all of that at 30 past the hour. Also on the team, Ellen Holmes Steeves-Leblanc is going to be on from the Select International Tours Group. We're going to Portugal. We're going to Spain this November, 13 days. It's going to be a great trip. All traditional Latin Mass. Father João Silveira is going to be there. We're going to give you all the details, all the stops, all the sites, the Apostles' Tomb, St. James, the incorruptible body of St. Teresa. It's going to be an amazing trip. Ellen joins us at 14 past the hour to share all of that with you. And of course, we've got our new sponsor on the team this week, CatholicMatch.com. We're so grateful for their sponsorship. Helps to pay for all of our needs here at the Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, along with your generous donations. It really helps us to pay our monthly bills, just like yours. More on CatholicMatch.com later this hour. We will put the show notes up for you at thestationofthecross.com/ACT, where you can be a part of the conversation. Smash that watch live stream. But if you like audio podcast, can I tempt you into subscribing to A Catholic Take and leaving us a review? That would help us out in a big way. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can leave us a review. 5 stars? Anyone? That would be amazing. Do us that favor today. We would be grateful. Let's pray. Let's get after it. We have so much to talk about. Do us a favor and share us with a friend. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Remember, O most gracious Virgin Mary, that never was it known that anyone who fled to thy protection, implored thy help, or sought thine intercession was left unaided. Inspired by this confidence, I fly unto thee, O Virgin of Virgins, my mother. To thee do I come, before thee I stand sinful and sorrowful, O Mother of the Word incarnate. Despise not my petitions, but in thy mercy hear and answer me. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And now your saint of the day.
Saint Elmo, pray for us. Elmo was the bishop of Formia, Italy, in the 3rd century. He was taken prisoner during a persecution and subjected to many horrible tortures, but he would not apostatize and seemed almost unaffected by the pain. Cast into prison to die, Elmo was miraculously freed by an angel, and he went back to evangelizing. When taken prisoner again, Elmo was subjected to even worse tortures. The final cruelty involved his disembowelment while still alive, with his intestines wound round a winch. Some accounts say that he died that same day, while others assert that he was miraculously kept alive for another week to further inspire his fellow Christians and convert more souls with his preaching. Either way, he died as a martyr around the year of our Lord 303. He is invoked against abdominal problems as one of the 14 holy helpers, and is also a patron of sailors, who bestowed the name St. Elmo's Fire on the atmospheric electrical discharges sometimes seen on the masts of ships. For more about the saints and seasons of the Catholic Church, visit thestationofthecross.com/saints and seasons. St. Elmo, pray for us.
And now your headline news. Zeal reports Pope Leo names first lay woman to head the Vatican's dicastery for communications. Pope Leo XIV has appointed Maria Montserrat Alvarado, President and Chief Operating Officer of EWTN News, to serve as the new prefect of the Dicastery for Communications, the first laywoman to hold the position. Alvarado was born in Mexico City and previously served as the Beckett Fund for Religious Liberty. Just the News reports criminal referrals alleging Democrats used 8 nonprofit cutouts to rout billions of dollars. The EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin says he has made criminal referrals to the DOJ and EPA Inspector General after uncovering what he calls blatant waste and abuse, alleging that 8 nonprofit pass-through entities were used to route $20 billion with a B in the Biden-era green energy grants to former Obama-Biden officials and Democrat donors, including a $2 billion grant to a nonprofit tied to Stacey Abrams. Didn't get any of that money, that's for sure. Just the News reports Israel bombs and captures historic 12th century castle in Lebanon. Israeli forces bombed and captured Lebanon's Beaufort Castle, a 12th century Crusader-era fortress in southern Lebanon, as part of what the Lebanese prime minister described as a scorched earth campaign of collective punishment. Defense Minister Israel Katz announced troops would remain at the castle as a part of the new security zone extending well north of the Litani River. More than 3,300 Lebanese have been killed, 1.2 million displaced, and satellite analysis shows more than 2,100 buildings destroyed across southern Lebanon. And those are your headline news. The gospel today from the Novus Ordo Missae comes to us from Mark chapter 12, verses 13 through 17. And they sent to him some of the Pharisees and of the Herodians, that they should catch him in his words, who, coming, say to him, Master, we know that thou art a true speaker, and carest not for any man, for thou regardest not the person of men, but teachest the way of God in truth. Is it lawful to give tribute to Caesar, or shall we not give it? Who, knowing their wildness, saith to them, Why tempest you me? Bring me a penny that I may see it. And they brought it him, and he saith to them, Whose is this image and inscription? They say to him, Caesar's. And Jesus answering saith to them, Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they marveled at him. The Gospel of the Lord. Laus tibi Christi. This is a powerful passage. I love it. The Pharisees and Herodians united against him. They are united. They hated each other normally, but if it means hating the Messiah, then of course that would unite them for some odd reason. They're united in their rejection of God. Let that sink in. Haydock, quoting on verse 14, citing the Venerable Bede, says the disciples of the Pharisees framed the question in order to induce our Savior to answer that they were not to pay tribute to Caesar, being the people of God, an answer they confidently anticipated, and which the Herodians, hearing, might immediately apprehend him. It was a gotcha question. No matter how he answers, he's going to get it wrong in some way, enough to get Jesus, the death penalty. That was the point. He goes on, citing verse 15. The Latin word signifies cunning, but the Greek means dissimulation or hypocrisy. Christ does not answer the question as posed. He exposes the questioner. The denarius carries Caesar's stamp. Man carries God's. Father Alapide, writing back in the 17th century, in the parallel of Matthew 22, verse 21, citing Tertullian, says, Render to Caesar the things of Caesar, and to God the things of God, i.e., the image of Caesar, which is in money, to Caesar, and the image of God, which is in man, to God, so that thou mayest give money to Caesar and to God thyself. Father Haydock on verse 17, quoting St. Jerome, O Lord is our Lord, is stamped upon us, and not the image of Caesar. The Catholic Church has never rejected following and being obedient to our rightfully, the governments that are over us, however they might have come to be, whether they be monarchies or democracies. We have an obligation to be obedient and good citizens to a point. But that is not what this is about. This is about to give to God everything, your entire self, leaving nothing back. You must give your very self to God. And if you are to be a disciple of the Savior Jesus, you must take up your cross. You must march with him to Calvary, there be mocked and crucified and die next to him. Because if you're not willing to do that, then you cannot be his disciple. Let that sink in. Cornelius a Lapide notes that Christ is here unwilling to enter into the question whether the Jews were justly or unjustly subjects of Rome. He takes for granted what is and redirects attention to what each party owes to God. The church's consistent position, political obligations are not adverse to religion, and religion is not adverse to political duties. A Lapide, citing St. Hilary, if we have nothing in our possession which belongs to Caesar, then we are free from the obligation of giving him that which is his. Radical poverty is the only complete exit from the tension Christ describes. Radical poverty. Are you willing? Or do you just want your cake and eat it too? You want the blue skies, the low humidity, the sunshine, money in your back pocket, and no one to give you a hard time about the taxes you owe? I think you need to adjust your expectation of the world around you. Give to God what is owed to God. Everything is the answer to that. And in 2 minutes from now, let's talk about how we can make that real. We'll be back.
iCatholic Mobile is a proud sponsor of the Station of the Cross. What if your phone bill did more than just connect calls? What if it connected souls? With iCatholic Mobile, every text, every call, and every gig of data supports the Station of the Cross, keeping Catholic programming on the air. Nationwide 5G, unlimited talk and text, reliable data, and free roaming in Canada and Mexico, all on a network that puts faith first. More info at iCatholicMobile.com.
Hear what our listeners are saying about the regularly updated iCatholic Radio mobile app.
iCatholic Radio is the most truthful and important site that any of us could ever listen to today. We get the truth. We get good people telling us what is going on in the world. Thank you so much. It's a gift from God.
Download the free iCatholic Radio mobile app today on your Android or Apple mobile device.
Please join us in a prayer to our guardian angel. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. O holy guardian angel, take care of our soul and body. Enlighten our mind that we may know the Lord better and love him with all our heart. Help us in our prayers so that we may not give in to distractions. Assist us with your advice so that we may see the good and carry it out with generosity. Defend us from the insidious snares of the enemy and sustain us in temptations that we may always be victorious. Remedy our coldness in our worship of the Lord. Cease not to protect us until you have brought us into paradise, where we will praise our good God together for all eternity. Amen.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClane. It is good to be on with you. Coming up at 30 past the hour, we have an eyewitness who was there when the Israeli government decided to harass, intimidate, and shut down a Marian procession in the last Christian village in the Holy Land. She joins us to give us the details. Stick around for that. But we're going to the Holy Land, and I want to give you all of the details. Have a listen to this.
I want to invite you to join Father João Silveira on a once-in-a-lifetime Catholic pilgrimage to Spain and Portugal from November 9 through November 21st of this year. This pilgrimage includes the daily celebration of the traditional Latin Mass and visits to some of the most important Catholic shrines and holy sites in the world. Imagine standing before Our Lady of Montserrat, venerating Our Lady of the Pillar in Zaragoza, praying before the incorrupt body of Saint Teresa of Avila, visiting the tomb of Saint James the Apostle in Santiago de Compostela, and walking through places sanctified by Eucharistic miracles. One of the highlights will be our visit to Fatima, where Our Lady appeared to 3 shepherd children. We will pray at the Chapel of the Apparitions, visit the tomb of San Francisco and Jacinta and Sister Lucia, walk the Station of the Cross, and participate in the beautiful candlelight procession. This pilgrimage is not simply a vacation. It's an opportunity to deepen your faith, grow closer to our Lord, and experience the rich Catholic heritage of Spain and Portugal alongside fellow Catholics who love the traditional faith. Throughout our journey, we will have daily Mass, prayer, fellowship, spiritual reflection, and unforgettable moments of grace. The pilgrimage is not simply a vacation, it's an opportunity to deepen your faith, grow closer to our Lord, and experience the rich Catholic heritage of Spain and Portugal alongside fellow Catholics who love the traditional faith. Throughout our journey, we will have daily Mass, prayers, fellowship, spiritual reflection, and unforgettable moments of grace. The pilgrimage includes first-class hotels, guided tours, transportation throughout the journey, and visit to Barcelona, Montserrat, Zaragoza, Madrid, Guadalupe, Segovia, Avila, Alba de Tormes, Santiago de Compostela, and Fatima. Spaces are limited, so I encourage you not to wait. Come, walk where saints walked. Pray where miracles happen, and join us in answering Our Lady's call. I look forward to praying with you in Spain and Fatima. God bless you, and I hope see you there.
Joining us to talk about this incredible trip is my good friend Ellen Holmes Steeves-Leblanc, coordinator with Select International Tours. Ellen, good afternoon. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me, and I apologize. I have my raspy voice today, so please forgive.
You're not smoking a pack a day. That's not how that happened. No,
I just got back. I actually just got back from Spain, and I was on a pilgrimage. I had 86 pilgrims, and it was a lot of work. Nice. And I came back with a little bit of a rasp, so I apologize.
I've never been to Spain. Tell me about Spain. What is Spain like?
I was up in the Basque region. I was at Santiago de Compostela, and I was at Garabandal. And some other beautiful Leon and Our Lady of Covadonga, which is a very famous place. It's the end of the Islamic. It was the battle that ended the Islamic rule after the 781-year war. So Our Lady of Covadonga is a pretty special place, and we also were in Fatima before that. I've been to Spain before, and I've been to Avila. I actually spent 3 nights in the walled city, which was phenomenal. I've been to Guadalupe, which most people don't know was the beginning of Christianity in Europe. Not Guadalupe in Mexico, but the Guadalupe in Spain. It's a very beautiful place. I can't wait. I've never been to Barcelona, and we're starting in Barcelona, and I can't wait to see that magnificent cathedral. I just can't wait to see it. And then going to Our Lady of the Pillar is going to be, that's our faith. You know what I mean? The 2 pillars, the Eucharist and Our Lady. Right. I mean, it's everything in a nutshell. And of course, the priest is, it's a devoutly Catholic traditional pilgrimage, and it is bilingual. There will be, so if you're Spanish speaking, don't be, please join us. If you're English speaking, please join us. I mean, it's open to everybody, but it's going to be pretty transformative, and we are going to cover like all of Spain. We're going to start in one corner and go all the way across, which is the way to do it. And of course, it'll be November, so the weather will be pleasant. It won't be too hot, because Spain can get kind of hot in the summer. So we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
November's going to be perfect. It's going to be beautiful weather. I want to know more about Father João Silveira. Tell me about him.
He is a missionary priest, is my understanding. I have not personally met him. He comes so highly regarded. I know he's traveled with Dr. Taylor Marshall in the past. Mm-hmm. And I know that he is busy, extremely busy, going all around the world, helping in different missionary places. And that's what he does. I mean, that is his passion and his mission, but he also is devoutly connected to the traditional Latin Mass and everything that's affiliated with that. And
is he part of the canons regular? Like, I think he belongs to the same order as Bishop. No?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. I got to look him up more. I just saw him. He was all over the Chartres pilgrimage, saying masses every single morning in their special I've never been to the Chartres pilgrimage, but I've been to the Three Hearts pilgrimage in Oklahoma, and we're going to go again this year. And they always set up this tent, and for every priest, no lay folk are allowed in there except for maybe one server, and they all say their masses at the same time on all these little altars. So I was watching Father Zhao's masses being said across the Chartres pilgrimage just recently, so it was pretty amazing. And I've seen him, like, he spends a lot of time in Africa too, I suppose. So he's a very intriguing Portuguese priest who's going to say the TLM for us every single day. I'm looking forward to meeting him. I've never met him. It's going to be exciting. But the schedule, Ellen, the schedule's pretty intense. I mean, it's going to be an amazing trip. I was just going through it all again today. You mentioned the Cathedral of Barcelona, the Holy Cross, Saint Eulalia, Montserrat. I can't wait to go to Montserrat. It just looks so epic on a whole other level, right? And then the Sagrada Familia. There's going to be Our Lady of Pillar. You mentioned there's three Marian apparitions that we're visiting. Basically, Our Lady of Pilar, that's one. Our Lady of Fatima, that's the bookend before we come home, and then in the middle, you mentioned Our Lady of Guadalupe. Talk to me about this again, because most Catholics are unaware. When we think of Our Lady of Guadalupe, we think of Mexico, rightfully, 1531, of course. But you can't have what happens in Mexico if it doesn't start in Spain first.
That is correct. That is correct. And so I was on a pilgrimage there a couple of years ago, and I really didn't understand the significance of it either. It's just this small village tucked in the middle of almost nowhere, which, that's how Our Lady likes to do things. Yeah. And it is this magnificent church, very humble people, but it is the root and the birthplace of what was the beginning of Christian Spain, for lack of a better description, and Christian Europe. It kind of formed there. And so the devotions there it's unbelievable. I was able to celebrate Mass in that church, and it's breathtaking. It is breathtaking. Yeah.
St. Teresa of Avila, are we going to go see her incorrupt body?
We are. We're going to see her incorrupt body, and you'll see Alba Todores, which is where she started. I did a Carmelite pilgrimage last year, and we actually went to all the different places where she started convents. And I will tell you, very busy person, but the museum at the town that we're going to go to is spectacular. I mean, it just really encapsulates her life. And of course, her very close relationship with St. John of the Cross, because they were both so important in, Catholic, the Catholic faith, but also Catholic mysticism, right. And really dig deep into your Catholic faith. They're just critically important.
Yes. And then St. James, we're going to go to the tomb of St. James.
I had to go down into the tomb twice. I was just there how was I there, a week ago?
And this is the cathedral where they swing the ginormous, yes. Thurible.
They do. And it's spectacular. all the pilgrims I was with, we have videos and everything. And we were there when they were doing a special ceremony. They were knighting people, like for the Knights of Columbus, and there was a lot going on, and the cathedral was packed, but it's spectacular. I can't explain. And then I think the most inspiring thing about not just being able to see St. James and of course kiss his neck, because they do have his head up above, and you get to wrap your arms and kiss the back of his neck, which is spectacular. No, not kidding. Really what? Did that. That happened. It happened.
Blowing my mind.
So, yeah, but the neatest thing is watching all the beautiful pilgrims come in and collapse in front of the cathedral from all the different destinations on the Compostela, the way, as we call it. And it's just amazing. And they believe that St. James came the Portuguese way,
Really?
And they all have different distances. Yeah, but that is why I just learned that when I was at Santiago. They believe he came the Portuguese way.
It'll make my wife very happy. My wife's Portuguese. Her family's from
Tell her
the
St.
Azores.
James came that way.
Bias alert. Real big bias alert there. So Portugal is the last stop for us, Fatima. Of course, we're going to visit the shrine. We're going to visit the location where Our Lady appeared to the three shepherds. But we're also, and this is going to be exciting, the candlelight procession. We're going to be in the candlelight procession. That's kind of cool.
Amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. They do one every night. It's normally the statue of Our Lady, except for Thursday nights. Thursday night, they actually process with the Eucharist. And
really?
It's with the Eucharist. And It's beautiful. And I was just there, and there were probably a few thousand people. It wasn't, crowded like the crazy times. You know what I mean? But all the candles lit and the procession around. And of course, they have, 24-hour Eucharistic adoration. I do recommend, I'd never been to the museum. I finally got to the museum on my 4th trip to Fatima, and seeing the bullet that hit St. John Paul II. They have the crown there with the bullet in it, and it's amazing. I recommend going to the museum. It's €3.
Oh wow, 3 whole euros. Well, I'll start saving right now. Anyway, so I mean, I went with you to Greece and Turkey last year. I still think about that trip every day. Literally, no day goes by, and I'm just like, man, that was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. 13 days is going to be this trip, November the 9th through the 21st. Traditional Latin Mass celebrated every day with Father Zhao. All of these incredible destinations, the friendships that are made with this tight group that are going to hang out for 13 days. That's one of the most unforgettable things about these trips, I would imagine, is the friends you make.
Yeah, you make them. And of course, I set up the WhatsApp group. And our group, we're still communicating with one another on a regular basis. And that's what happens. You build, it's communion. You're building community, and it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I think to register, it's only like a $500 deposit. And I recommend it's Select International Tours and Cruises. And Select International has been almost 39 years. It was founded by a lady from Bosnia, and she was actually one of the first lady pilgrimage companies to ever take. She was the first pilgrimage to ever take people to Medjugorje and to start that. All right, Adida's amazing.
We're out of time. Ellen, thank you for being on with us and sharing this. I'm looking forward to it. SelectInternationalTours.com. You can find the November 9th through the 21st event with Father Zhao, Luis, myself, and Ellen. We're also going to link to it in the video and in the show notes today. We're going to come back in 2 minutes. Let's talk about the Holy Land and the Christian persecution. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Station of the Cross began broadcasting in Buffalo, New York in 1999. Since then, our listening areas have multiplied and expanded into several states. While our mission is to grow the Catholic faith through radio and other media outlets, our apostolate is supportive of but independent from your local diocese. Through your generosity, we are able to inspire countless listeners with the gospel and help lead them to a parish to be spiritually nourished by the sacraments.
At the Station of the Cross, we understand that life circumstances can affect your giving options, whether by moving or by switching banks and credit card numbers. Please let us know if recent changes have been made to your payment information so that we can better serve you as you continue to bless us with your financial support. Update your information today at thestationofthecross.com or by calling 1-877-888-6279, extension 104.
The Adoration Sodality of the Poor Clares of Perpetual Adoration at the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament in Hanceville, Alabama, is a prayer group for laity, priests, and religious brothers and sisters to spiritually join in the nuns' mission of adoring our Lord Jesus Christ in the Holy Eucharist. Members commit themselves to an hour of Eucharistic adoration on a monthly, weekly, or daily basis at a monstrance or tabernacle at the parish of their choice. Learn more about becoming a member at iadorethee.com.
Catholic radio has just been a lifesaver for me. I still listen to it every day. I start my day with it. I listen to it all day long as much as I can. I am very grateful for it.
It's just an amazing thing to have, as I am new to Catholicism. Obviously, it's not only helping me, but it's helping so many other people on their walk.
Thank you. God bless you for iCatholic Radio. It has changed my life.
Donate today at thestationofthecross.com.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClane. Praise be to God. It is good to be on with you. Recently, the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, it seems that they intimidated in order to stop the Christians in one of the last, if not the last, Christian village in the Holy Land from a Marian procession. In fact, Cardinal Pizzaballa had to get involved again. We're going to link to that, plus the Vulnerable People Project website and Substack related to this whole story. But joining us now from the Vulnerable People Project is Alexandrya Pouliot. She is the project manager of their Middle East projects. Alexandrya, thank you for your time today. We do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So what happened? When did this happen and what happened?
Yeah, so the festival was this Friday. For background information, Father Bashar, who's the parish priest there, he had gotten all of the necessary permits and the permissions from the municipality. So it was entirely legal. Everything was in order. The festival was planned to start with a mass at the church, and then there was a procession planned, and then a stage set up and lots of chairs. There were a few hundred people who came. So the setup started so actually it's important to note. So they weren't able to set the stage up, everything up for the festival until the day of, because Father Bashar was sure that settlers would come and destroy all the preparations.
Wow.
So this was a concern to begin with. So they had to start early the same morning of the festival. They began, I think, around 6 or 7. So I went down with my team at 8, and on the walk down, we were about 2 minutes away. We heard a really loud noise, which it turns out was actually a stun grenade that was set off by the IDF soldiers. So we just missed them as they came around the first time. So there was a IDF armored vehicle that drove right through the road where the setup was taking place. There was a crew from Ramallah who was there to set up the stage and everything for the festival. And on a loudspeaker in Hebrew, the IDF soldiers, they said, "You can't do this. You can't be here. Leave." So there was a warning. So we came down and everyone was just in a state of paralysis, waiting to see what was going to happen, not able to continue the setups. And about 30 minutes later, a second vehicle came through. And again, did a loudspeaker. This time there wasn't a stun grenade, but it was drove through menacingly on the loudspeaker, giving a warning to stop all preparations. And the IDF actually has no authority over this particular area, this town and this street. But yeah, but they still, I mean, it doesn't stop anything. It doesn't change the fact that the permits were all in order. The authority, the IDF didn't have the authority in this situation, but it didn't matter because
did they say
they do.
Did they give a reason why you can't do this? You have to leave. Did they say why? They just said to leave.
No, there was absolutely no explanation. There was just kind of a threat coming through twice and the stun grenade and saying that you couldn't do this.
And this happens all the time, doesn't it?
Oh, all the time. I mean, it's really a daily occurrence, and sometimes it's worse. There are violent attacks. People are killed in the village right next to Taipei. So you mentioned one of the last Christian villages, Taipei being, it actually is the last entirely Christian village in the West Bank. It's the last one. And the population, I think, is now 1,200. So the Christians, because of the impossible living situation that they're under, they're leaving. They're all in diaspora.
You know, whenever I talk about this, I always get in trouble. And I don't care that I get in trouble, to be honest with you, because I think this is an important issue and must be talked about. And I want to ask the most obvious question of all. I think I already know the answer, but I want to ask this anyway, because who knows? Maybe there's a different answer. Why in the world would the Israeli military
harass the Christians in the last Christian village in the Middle East? Why would they do this? What would motivate them?
Well, I think ultimately it's the greater Israel plan. They want the land and they'll do whatever is necessary to take that land. I've also heard a lot that the Israeli state has a particular disdain for Christians more than Muslims, more than Arabs in general. They're particularly targeted. And I think that's probably for theological reasons as well as political. The Christians in Palestine have more wealth, although they're a very small minority at this point, but they tend to have more, power and more wealth. So they're more formidable. And also in diaspora, the Palestinian Christians are more formidable. So I think that's partially why they're targeted so intentionally.
The next obvious question I want to ask, and it just seems so bizarre to me, is we never hear, I would say maybe with rare exception here, from Mike Huckabee, for instance, or anybody in official circles within the Trump administration on what you're describing as a daily occurrence. I mean, why would that be? Is he so insulated at the embassy there in Jerusalem that he's not aware of what happens in places like Tebia?
It depends on who you ask. So I've had this debate with a lot of Palestinians. Actually, it's funny. I was with Jason at Christmas Mass in Bethlehem, and Mike Huckabee was the row directly in front of me. Nice. And actually, someone there, part of his security group, someone there with him, told us that he's seen with Huckabee. He's been taken into Gaza. They've seen the starvation, and he's seen Huckabee come back, be interviewed, and denied what he saw. So I've had conversations. Wow. Some Palestinians are kind of more optimistic. Like I had someone tell me just this weekend in Taipei, they said, I always hear that he's a good man. He's a Christian. He's a pastor. I think he just genuinely doesn't know. And then there are some people who say, how could he not know? Of course he knows. Everyone knows. I mean, everyone knows what happens and what's happened in Gaza for the past 2 years and even far before that. So
yeah. And how do you not know what's happening in Taipei? All of the reports of these settlers harassing these villages. I mean, I don't know how that escapes your being aware of that. Then what about the reports? Like there was that nun that was pushed over from behind from a guy. Like I heard that there was some punishment for that guy. I heard that the soldier who put a cigarette in the mouth of the statue of Blessed Virgin Mary, I think was that Southern Lebanon he did that. I heard there was punishment for him. Are they holding them accountable? What are we getting on that front?
No, so not a single IDF soldier or settler has actually been prosecuted for a crime in the past few years. In both of those instances, because there was such significant international backlash, the relevant Israeli officials came out and condemned and said that there would be an investigation. And I think in both cases, I think there was like a temporary leave of absence for the soldier in Lebanon with the cigarette, or I think it was when he hit the crucifix, when he smashed the crucifix. But he was reinstated shortly after, I believe. And then with the radical Israeli who shoved the nun a few weeks ago, I mean, there was also, it's all talk. Whenever Israel says that they're defending Christians and protecting Christians, protecting them from who? It's the Israeli state and the radical settlers who pose the threat to them.
And the spitting that happens every single day, they get spat upon, and they spit upon our churches and whatever else. I mean, it's so insane to me that we pretend like this doesn't happen. Like it'd be different in my book if we just admitted that this was all terrible, bad behavior. And then if they still said, hey, but we still want to be friends, like I would almost understand that more than this pretending that it never actually happens. It feels so manipulative that it just bothers me to no end. Talk to me about Cardinal Pizzaballa. He's intervened in this specific case of the Marian apparition. What is he doing? What can he do? What's the story with that?
So I've always heard from my Palestinian friends and friends in the region about how wonderful Cardinal Pizzaballa is for his people, for his flock. In this particular instance, I got to witness it. So everything was paused. No one could, after the second armed vehicle came through for the setup of the Marian festival, no one could do anything. There was such a sense of suspension and fear. And and anxiety, and no one knew what was going to happen next and if we weren't going to be able to have the festival at all. And luckily, Father Bashar, the parish priest, he has a very good relationship with Cardinal Pizzaballa. So he was able to call him, and Cardinal Pizzaballa was able to directly contact and negotiate, arrange with the Israelis to allow the festival, actually. And I don't know, because we did have Cardinal Pizzaballa on Palm Sunday, this Palm Sunday being barred from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which got a lot of international backlash. Had that incident not resulted in the backlash that it did, I'm not sure that Cardinal Pizzaballa would have necessarily had the sway that he had on Friday to intervene and to permit this festival to still happen. But he's such an advocate for the Palestinian people, for the Christians.
How did the Israelis see him?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't have an answer to that. I'm sure they see him as a threat. Anyone who's that outspoken and that strong, and
I really wanted him to get elected at the conclave. I'm going to be honest. He was maybe my number 2 pick, but he was top 5 for sure. I wanted him to walk out on that loggia. I thought that would have been the most amazing thing ever, but clearly that was not to be. So here we are. But he definitely seems to me like the man for the time. And I can't imagine how difficult that job really is. I mean, he also seems to be getting along very well with the Eastern patriarchs of the region too. Do you have any sense of how well that relationship is?
Yeah, they collaborate so much on protecting the Christian presence in the Holy Land. They've come out in the past few months, especially with joint letters condemning the radical, settler movement that's kind of gripping the West Bank right now. They have a great relationship, and it's to the advantage of all the Christians.
And so you said they were able to proceed after Pizzaballa's involvement. What kind of procession or festivity was it like as planned? Was it more limited? What was the scope?
Yeah, so luckily it was allowed to continue as it was planned, and we were kind of wondering if we were going to have settlers come and attack, or if IDF would try something again. But there were multiple diplomatic missions, European diplomatic representatives who came to the festival. So I think that partially probably kept, those incidents from happening.
Yeah. And the Vulnerable People Project, they have been putting people in between, these settlers and the local people recently, haven't they, in order to try to stop some of this harassment?
So we don't do, I think what you're referring to is maybe more protective presence. And there are lots of activist groups that do this. What we're trying to do is campaign. So we're trying to wake American Catholics up to the reality that's facing the West Bank and the Christians in that area who are truly on the brink of erasure. So we try to stand with them and help them in different ways, not so much a physical, block between them and the settlers.
Or just like an eyewitness to what's actually going on, so that, there can be some testimony about all of the crazy and the shenanigans that are happening, and everybody seems to want to ignore why, I don't know. What is the church? How is the church's response? We're about a minute away from break, but what is, in your opinion, the church's response overall outside of Cardinal Pizzaballa? How do you think the Vatican handles this? Should they do more? Could they do more? What?
It's so mixed with church leaders. Like, we have a Bishop Barron who's a quietist. And then I think we have some brave leaders. Pope Leo, I think, does what he can. But you walk a delicate path when it comes to the largest geopolitical issue of the time. So, yeah, I mean, we have some leaders who are very fearless when it comes to speaking the truth about this issue.
And then some you think they should speak out more? You think they should speak out more?
Yeah, I do personally, from what I've seen.
Yeah. I think they should. And I think the clock is ticking and they need to do it while they still can. Don't go anywhere, though. If it's okay, I would like to ask you about what's going on in southern Lebanon as well as a part of this conversation. But we're having a conversation with Alexandrya Pouliot. She is the Middle East manager of their projects at the Vulnerable People Project. We will be linking to several things, including the vulnerablepeopleproject.com. And an article on Jason Jones' Substack, The Christians of the Middle East Are Washington's Bridge to Peace. I find this incredibly fascinating, co-written by Alejandro. We're going to put a link to that Substack on the show notes today, and the LifeSite News article, Cardinal Pizzaballa intervenes after Israeli authorities stop Marian Festival. More in 2 minutes. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Can we be happy without God? Atheists say yes, we Christians say yes, but only to a certain extent. What's our reason? There are some natural human desires that can be satisfied without living for God. The desire for sensory pleasure, success, and loving relationships. There are certain desires, however, that can't be satisfied without God. For example, we don't just desire some love, we desire infinite love, love without limit. This is manifest when we get frustrated with imperfect manifestations of it. The same is true for knowledge, justice, and beauty. Since God alone is infinite in these perfections, only He can satisfy our desires for them. Therefore, to borrow from St. Augustine, without God, our hearts would be forever restless. And my friends, a restless heart is an unhappy heart. I'm Carlo Broussard with a ready reason for Catholic Answers, Catholic.com.
Station of the Cross Catholic Media Network, we proudly bring the truths of the Catholic faith to countless listeners through radio and mobile devices. Hear how our listeners have been impacted.
I am just grateful and thankful for this radio station. It does help us to understand our Catholic faith. It sheds wisdom and knowledge on our church and in our teachings. It's a wonderful guide to all of us to learn more and become aware of our faith and the love that is within our faith. I would encourage everyone to listen whenever able and if at all possible every day. There's something there for all of us. This has been such an uplift. I'm just so excited.
If you've been blessed by listening to the Station of the Cross, please let us know. Call 1-877-888-6279 extension 112 and share your testimonial with us.
Praise be to Jesus Christ. Welcome back to A Catholic Take, a bold synthesis of information and inspiration. I'm your host, Joe McClane. Praise be to God. And let me tell you about our sponsor, brand new sponsor on the team this week, CatholicMatch.com. We're so very grateful to have them on the team. You know, as a dad who's got kids that are at that stage where they're discerning marriage and looking for somebody as a great spouse, a great partner with a sacramental mindset as a Catholic, I appreciate that there are tools like CatholicMatch.com out there to help them do that, to make the faith the focal point in discerning the sacrament. CatholicMatch.com can help you, connect you, if it's your kids or perhaps they themselves find that special someone. Thousands on the site, thousands of marriages already as a testament to the product. We're so grateful to have them on the team. CatholicMatch.com is their website. And if you go to them, make sure to say thank you for sponsoring A Catholic Take and Joe McClane. I would really appreciate it. CatholicMatch.com is the website. We're having a conversation about the Middle East. There was a Marian procession at the last village, Christian village in the Middle East, that got stopped and harassed with a stun grenade by the Israeli Defense Forces. Why? Because they don't want them there. We've been having the conversation with Alexandrya Pouliot. I've been calling her Alejandra this whole time. I don't know why.
It was a fun little flair.
Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for rolling with the punches. Alexandrya Pouliot, the Middle East project manager at VPP. Welcome back. I want to get into Lebanon, if that's okay. I was reading the news earlier in this hour that the Israeli Defense Forces have taken a 12th century Crusader fort and they're holding it north of the Litania River, or whatever that river is called. The whole promise was, we're going to take everything south, but now they're holding ground north. Promises made, promises broken, apparently, in the IDF, Greater Israel Project. What can you give us a sense what's going on in Lebanon? It seems pretty bad up there.
Yeah, the ceasefire is still technically in place, but unfortunately, it's violated every single day. It was violated mere hours after it took effect, actually. And we've heard rhetoric from the beginning of the conflict in Lebanon from Israeli leaders to make it look like Gaza. So the intention of ethnic cleansing and mass destruction in southern Lebanon, but Lebanon in general, is clear. There have been intentional targeted attacks on paramedics and hospitals, on the healthcare infrastructure. There have been intentional attacks on schools. We've seen double tap and even triple tap strikes on first responders. So it's clear that the intent is complete destruction.
One thing I'd struggle with, I served in the Marine Corps, but if someone had ordered me to kill a medic, I just don't know that I would do that. I would I'm not sure I can go that far. You know, shoot a school, destroy the ability to, make clean water. I don't know. It just feels like the average soldier should be scratching their head and going, yeah, no, I don't think that's right. I don't think we should be doing that. But we never hear of that when it comes to the IDF. Are there cases where IDF soldiers simply won't do these things or have complained or any of that? Because I never hear of those stories.
So I would just say it's a good instinct to be reluctant to destroy civilian objects. I mean, it's a war crime under international law.
Yeah.
And actually, it's interesting, the question about IDF soldiers who maybe don't really get in line with these orders. I would say two things. One, the mental health crisis of IDF soldiers and the suicide rate is really alarming and startling.
Really?
And I would say, secondly, in a few days ago in Taipei, we actually witnessed, so we were at a brewery, the Taipei Brewery, which is the first microbrewery in the Middle East, maybe the only as well. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 5 armored vehicles pull up. They block the road. They enter the complex, which is the home and the brewery of the owners. 13, we counted them. We have it all on video. 13 IDF and intelligence officers with huge guns, multiple guns, come in. And they pretended that they just innocently wanted to have some beer and hang out. But it was obviously to assert dominance. But so long story short, one of the women who lived in that, who was a member of that family, she was very upset with the soldiers because they had just in that very moment blocked her sister and her sister's husband from entering their own home and pointed the guns in their faces. And her sister's husband is a doctor, and they were coming to check on their 92-year-old mother. So this woman was rightfully upset, and she stood up to the IDF soldiers and she asked them to leave her house and her brewery. She said, "You're not welcome." This actually resulted in a pretty big altercation. The main commander was yelling at her in her face. He was saying, "We're the new Jew. You don't know us yet. We can do whatever we want." He was like really yelling in her face menacingly. They all grouped around her. And to get back to your question, there was one soldier out of 13 who came up to her in this whole group, this whole altercation, and he said, "I'm sorry." He said, "I'm sorry that we blocked your sister and her husband, and I'm sorry for this."
Wow.
And the woman, and I witnessed this myself. Yeah. And the woman, so immediately, as soon as he does this, his commander shoves him and says, "We don't talk to them like this. Leave." So he got immediately reprimanded for doing this. But as that was happening, this Palestinian woman said to him, "Thank you for treating me like a human being. Thank you for showing me respect. And I really appreciate this. Like, thank you."
Wow.
For being a human.
What you just described sounds like a Quentin Tarantino film. Honestly, I'm glad nobody died, but it was like, it felt like that's so bizarre. How come? We talked about this last segment. I guess I'm still asking the question because it just seems so Twilight Zone to me. How is this not more obviously a problem to the rest of the world? This behavior is not tolerable.
Yeah. I think the propaganda machine has worked very well. I think, unfortunately, so many Americans don't even know that there are Christians in the Middle East. They don't even know that there are Christians in Palestine. They're just, some people are really ignorant, and then it's easy to view Gaza as something just so foreign and so different and so unrelated to us and not our American problems. But the reality is that it's American foreign policy and lack of political will that's actually allowing this to happen to Christians and to the descendants of Mary and of Jesus and the apostles in the very birthplace, in the very place where he lived and visited.
Did you hear this week, the end of last week, or maybe over the weekend, I can't remember which, the U.S. Congress, the House, is quietly trying to get a bill passed, a Section 224 of the defense, whatever. It basically, if passed, it will integrate the Israeli and U.S. militaries together. Mm-hmm. Like, what would be the ramifications if that should take place? It's already bad.
I mean, the more Hamesh, it's so concerning. And the culture of impunity that the IDF and the Israeli state has. I mean, to see them walk around in Palestinian land, they don't have any legal authority over the areas where I witnessed these two incidents. And just to see how they assert themselves and intimidate. And it's like psychological warfare. In the West Bank, it's obviously not the same situation as Gaza, where there is active hostilities with the military, but the incredible amount of pressure psychologically too that's asserted on these people is just unbelievable.
They want them to leave. They just want them to get out.
Yeah.
They're trying to chase them out. The Greater Israel Project. Hey, Alexandrya Pouliot, thank you for your time today, staying up late, hanging out with us from the Middle East. Manager of the projects for the Middle East at Vulnerable People Project. We're going to put a link to their website, vulnerablepeopleproject.com. We'll also link to this article on Jason Jones' Substack. The Christians of the Middle East are Washington's bridge to peace. I want you to read this article. It's very important. We'll also link to the article on Cardinal Pizzaballa. But pray for the Christians in the Middle East. Pray for those that are having to endure this harassment and worse on a daily basis, and pray for the world to wake up and do something about it. Donald Trump, I'm talking to you. Time to put Jared Kushner out to pasture. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God love you. So what did you think of today's show? Let's discuss that right now in the after show. Your take on the after take. Comment, interact live with me and the team. All you need to do is search for one of our live video feeds on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, LinkedIn, and elsewhere. Simply search for the Station of the Cross, Joe McClane, or A Catholic Take. I'm looking forward to seeing you and interacting with you directly. It all starts right now. It's the after show.
Welcome back for the after show.
Welcome back. How's it go?
I was going to say, I was about to take the words out of your mouth, but you beat me.
Why are you not prepared for that every time? Come on now. I want to hear the follow-up. Welcome back.
You're trying so hard to make this a thing. So hard.
It needs to be a thing. All in favor of producer James singing the Welcome Back Carter song every single time we go into the after show, raise your hand. And I just heard a pop. It means there's
you can see me, and I'm not raising my hand, by the way. So
was that what? Can you just give me a little...
I'm not going to do that.
High five? High five?
I don't think I can do it. I'm sorry.
High five? Dang, man. What is that? Golly gee whiz, huh? What is the answer in the Middle East? Can someone give me, can somebody lay it out for me in 2 bullet points? What do we do about the situation in the Middle East? Just nothing and let it all play out however it is? It's so, I wanted to ask her that. We ran out of time. I'll have to have her back. The poor lady, I was calling her Alejandro for 20 minutes. She deserves better than that. Whatever. Eyes on the horizon. Joe, why doesn't anyone know about the abuses of Christians in the region? Because people like Frank Gaffney at the Institute for the American Future say, I haven't seen it. Citation roundtable discussion between millennials and boomers on Brandon Straka's Walk Away YouTube channel. How do you, there's no way that, this is what we talked about with Alexandra. There's no way they haven't seen it. They've seen it. There's no way they don't know. They are choosing intentionally. They're making a style decision here. They stand with Israel no matter what, even against Christians, because these evangelical Zionists want to bring about the end times. Let that sink in. Next question. How many, if you could guess, put your numbers in the chat box. Give me your best guess number. How many souls will burn in hell forever if Christ should come today in the second coming? Because they're not ready, they're not prepared, they'll be caught off guard, they will die in their sin, and they will go to hell forever. How many souls? Guess. Your guess is as good as mine. Put it in the chat box. So if you're an evangelical Zionist and you've made the decision, Israel or bust, because you think that's going to bring around the second coming, how many souls are you sending to hell because you think you're going to force the hand of God? So arrogant. The entirety of the theology from the Schofield Bible is so flippin' arrogant. Obnoxiously so. It bugs me to no end. Bugs me to no end. How does BB make tea? He brews it. Oh. That was good, Nicholas. That was good. I'm gonna steal that. By the way, you know what else I stole from Bibi Netanyahu? My villain in my trilogy fiction novel series on the end times. Oh. Book 1 is drafted, by the way. I'm changing it. I'm nuancing it. I'm like messing with it. It'll be a couple of months still before I think it's really ready for prime time. But it's pretty darn juicy. It's juicy. It's very juicy. And my villain is he's very Bibi Netanyahu and like similar. Let's just say similar. Damon puts out the poll. Should producer James sing Welcome Back Carter, in particular with Joe? With Joe.
I like that you got roped into that.
It's not, what is this with Joe? It should be that producer James should have to sing it. I will prompt him. This is like the entrance hymn at the suburban parish near you. It's the Welcome Back Carter song. No, James should sing solo. Okay, I choose that option. I'm going to vote for that one.
Why is 100%. That an option?
Wait, hold on. How is this a thing here? So far, 50% said yes, and 50% said yes with musical accompaniment. But 100% said no, James should sing solo. What is this, a Democrat poll? It feels a little rigged. I'm going to be honest with you. Damon says billions of people would sadly possibly go to hell if they don't strive to do better. Wait, says T-Storm. Did the girl who was being interviewed just say descendants of Mary? Is she Catholic? She is. She is Catholic. Alexandrya Pouliot is her name, and she is a Catholic. The VPP, man, they do some incredible work. They're amazing people. Praise be to God for them. Ronnie says, yeah, Joe, that's right. Peeps not prepared. KY Postman 93. What is ironic to me is that the IDF treat the Palestinians exactly like the Jews were treated by the Nazis during the 1930s and 1940s. It's a very interesting comment, KY Postman 93. The reason why I think that's interesting is because that is the number one argument from ultra-Orthodox Jews in New York, for instance. They gather in the thousands to protest the state of Israel. And this is part of what they complain about what's going on in the state of Israel. So you've got thousands of Jews who are not on Team IDF, Team Israel, because of this one thing. They find it incredibly problematic that the state of Israel treats other people just like Jews were treated by the Nazis in the Holocaust in Europe. How ironic is that, huh? Hey, now the poll has changed. 33% say no, but James should do it solo with his own music. So you got some people on your team. They think you can choose your own music bed as long as you're singing.
What I do notice about the poll is there's no outright no option. It seems like people are being nudged towards a certain conclusion.
I don't know.
I don't know
what you mean. I'm going to have to hesitate to articulate for fear that I might deviate from the true course of rectitude on that one. Next question, please. Next. Next. I'm sorry. Moving on.
Why are you not a politician? You're good at this.
I'm sorry. What? What's that? Hey, Jane says, has anyone made a movie about the U.S. ship bombarded by Israel? Nope, not as far as I know. I think that would break the ice on believing they are out for themselves. Guess what? I reached out. There's like an association for veterans of the USS Liberty. I reached out to them. I tried to get them on the show so I could get one of the people who were there that day to give us their firsthand eyewitness account. And for whatever reason, they decided. They were at first like, oh, yeah, we'll set this up. And then I never heard another word from them. So I don't know what it was. Maybe it's because I'm Catholic and they're just, anti-Catholics. I haven't the slightest clue. But they didn't. They wouldn't answer any of my further emails on that. Countless souls, says Eyes on the Horizon. So true. Two Twisters back. It's Kata, not Carter, Joe. Welcome back, Kata. Eileen Hall, welcome back. Says, play the original song by John Sebastian if it's public domain. I don't think it is. Probably isn't. If we played it, I'd probably get, my life threatened somehow, some way.
You're going to get your life threatened by me at this rate, whether you play the song or not. So.
Just because you're asked to sing? Like, come on, man. As if you've never sung. You probably sing all of the Marty Haugen tunes at every opening entrance song at your local parish. I mean, you probably belted out.
Actually.
By the way, who was it that was telling? I think it was our mutual friend Rudy Carlos.
Oh boy, this should be good.
Yesterday, sent me a truth bomb. He said Marty Haugen is related to Pete Hegseth. Marty Haugen, the well-known Christian liturgical composer, is Pete Hegseth's uncle. That's crazy. The connection is through Hegseth's mother, Penelope. That is wild. Marty Haugen, the so-called Christian composer, is related to Pete Hegseth, the Zionist. Who knew? Diane, welcome back. Praise be to God. Catholic Jedi Knight, return to the kingdom of Jerusalem. I think we should go take the fort in Lebanon back. That's what I think. I think the Crusaders need to rise again. By the way, can I just thank iCatholicMobile.com. iCatholicMobile.com. Good friend of the show. iCatholicMobile.com. Is your cell phone Catholic? Because mine is. We're on iCatholic Mobile service. We love iCatholic Mobile in my house. They're amazing. Praise be to God. I love that my phone company is a trad Catholic, honestly. It's so cool. So if not, check them out. iCatholicMobile.com, sponsor of what we do here at the Station of the Cross and a Catholic Take. We are very grateful to iCatholic Mobile. It's we've harped on financing, generous donations. We harped on it again yesterday. If it wasn't for our donors and our sponsors, already we still need like another $135,000 just to make our budget for the springtime. So it is very hard to make the budget. So we are so grateful for Catholic Match, iCatholic Mobile, our sponsors, our donors, hard-earned money given to help us do what we do. It means so much. So thank you. Christine OFS on the team, one of our insiders. God bless you. Don Jr. gets married to Epstein's family. Our daughter, what? What? Who got married? Don Jr. married who again? Inglés contra mundum. Sing media vitae. Do you know any Latin tunes? Would you prefer to say? If you sang in Latin, would that be a preference, James?
No.
You're still not down for it.
That sounds like it'd be more difficult, wouldn't you think?
Hey, Roxy Stage says we switched to iCatholic Mobile. They use the AT&T Tower. Service is great. Thank you for supporting our sponsor. Thank you for that. That is very nice of you. God bless you. Alberto, welcome back. Inglés again. Good to know. Praise be to God. I don't even know who's over. Do we have any friends? Yeah, Honey West is over on the Rumbles. As someone who lived 33 years less than 5 miles from the largest Hasidic village outside of Israel, I am not surprised they hate us. I am not surprised they hate us. Well, I guess that's the way it goes sometimes, doesn't it? Hey, if you're new here, by the way, hang out with us more often. We'd love to have you. You can always subscribe to the YouTube channel, to our podcast, to our X feed. We're on the iCatholic Mobile X feed as well, which is it's iCatholic Radio, actually. iCatholic Radio. I better get it right or I'll get in trouble. iCatholic Radio on X. We're also on YouTube. We also cross post on Rumble and Facebook and a ton of other places. The best place to follow us is on our website, thestationofthecross.com/ACT. You can find everything there. You can get all of our videos there, podcasts there, live video feed there. The show notes are there. All of it's there. And you can even sign up to the email list to allow me to, on rare occasion, apparently, harass your inbox. I would encourage you to do it. By the way, I just want to give you an update. So I've got some big projects that I've been working on relentlessly lately. I have a book coming out. It's going to be called Catholic by Design. And I've got my buddy, his name is Fonzie. And my buddy Fonzie is going to be helping me to design the book cover of it. But I've got this, I want to share with you. I got this AI, just a placeholder really, for this design. But basically it's going to look something like this. I'm waiting for my good buddy Fonzie to finish what the actual design is. But Catholic by Design, God's eternal blueprint for his church, Eden to the second coming. This has been a project 15 years in the making. I wrote the bulk of this book. It's going to be roughly 370 some odd pages. I wrote the bulk of this book about 15 years ago. So probably 90% of this book was written 15 years ago. And we've adapted what I wrote back then into book form. And it's all about typology. It's all about seeing the church from God's design perspective. So I think it's going to be really good. It sounds great, reads well, feels great. My daughter's doing the copy editing right now. She's reading through it, and it's a lot. But my daughter actually has quite a bit of experience and training in literature and in writing. So I've decided to pay her to be my copy editor on this. So as soon as she gets done with it, and as soon as I can get the cover art done with my good friend Fonzie, then we're going to publish this through Amazon KDP. It'll be available print on demand in a paperback. I don't know about hardback. Does anybody? I mean, like I prefer the hardcover books, but honestly, do you still buy those, or do you prefer the soft cover? And then eventually, I'll also do an audiobook of it. The question is, am I going to do it myself? That'd be the way to go from a financial perspective, but if the paperback makes money, I might pay somebody, like maybe Kennedy Hall. Who knows? I don't know. Perhaps I can pay somebody to do it. We'll see. But then I'm also working on a 3-book trilogy fiction book on the end times. It is the first book is He Is Coming, the Rise of the Antichrist. The second book will be on the tribulation. The third book is going to be on the second coming of Christ. But this first book is drafted already. It's very exciting. I'm really pumped about it. Kind of on the nose. I'm tempted to read you the prologue. I'm so tempted to just read you the prologue because I'm really excited about the project. Honestly, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, this is a project I've been dealing with. This fiction book is a project I've been dealing with probably for 4 years. I've just been wrestling with this idea in my head. I've written bits and pieces down here and there, different scenes. I always thought it was going to be like a television show. Think of Chosen meets 24, Jack Bauer meets Lost. You know, that kind of, that's what's been bouncing around my head on this particular storyline. So I developed some characters, I wrote some pieces, but now I'm developing it into a full-fledged novel instead of going down the route of like a screenplay. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, honestly. It's fiction. Hopefully it competes with Left Behind. That's what I'm hoping on. I'm not going to say whether or not I have a French monarch in my story or not. I can neither confirm nor deny that there's a French monarch involved. But let's just say there will be surprises. There will be lots of surprises. Hey, Janice, thanks for being on the team today. Says, I wonder if Catholic Mobile gets you out of contracts. That is an interesting. You mean like if you still owe money or if you still have time? I don't know. I can't say. I don't know what the legality of that is, but you can always contact them and ask. Hallow334 says, Fonzie says, hey, how many people grew up on Happy Days? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many people just thought Fonzie was the coolest cat ever? Fonzie. Fun fact, he hated riding the motorcycle. Henry Winkler hated riding the motorcycle. When I learned that, I was so disappointed, honestly. It's like, you got to be kidding me, man. You're the Fonz. Shame. It's like Harrison Ford complaining about being, Han Solo. And someone should smack him and say, you know what? Shush. Okay? Take your check, cash it, go to your bank, put it in the bank, and stop your complaining. You're welcome. You got to become rich and famous, off of Han Solo, who lives forever in the Gen X head. Rent free. You're welcome. Good grief, Henry Winkler. Two Twister says, I remember when Fonzie jumped the shark. Man, I grew up on all those shows. Happy Days, Three's Company, The Brady Bunch, Gilligan's Island. Man. Laverne and Shirley. Who remembers Laverne and Shirley? All of those shows. Crazy shows. All of them. All of them. Big moral dilemmas. Maybe Happy Days was probably the most wholesome out of all of it. Honestly. Cigar Mode is back. Classics, vintage text, heirloom books, get hardback, quick reads, soft cover. What considers a quick read? Is it a page count or is it style? Like, what differentiates quick reads? Catholic Jedi Knight says, I grew up on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What'd you grow up on, James?
I kind of prefer the older stuff, to be honest. TV has gone way downhill. So
what did you watch when you were?
What did I watch when I was a kid?
A wee lad. Yeah.
What was my favorite show as a kid? When I was really little, it was like the Berenstain Bears and that stuff. When I was like 5 and below. I'm trying to think. SpongeBob, which I know is brain rot now, but back in the day, it was all right. It's not exactly
Partridge Family. Oh yeah,
that's not like that's not like a sitcom though. I don't know. I wasn't big into like sitcoms and those things though.
No.
What's the one? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Hold on. There's one that I really like that I still watch now, and it's older. About a courthouse. Yeah, it's about a courthouse.
Oh, Night Court?
Might be.
Night Court?
Might be. Yeah. Yeah? No. Yes.
Not Night Court.
It might be. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. It's Night Court. I see that on TV all the time. I still watch that all the time. I don't know why. I don't know why I was blanking on the name.
Night Court in forever.
Great show.
And it's been a long time. Yeah. Well, I of course see New 10. Who doesn't love Knight Rider, Airwolf, and A-Team? Yes or yes, of course. That was the nighttime shows. We're talking daytime, rerun, just home from school, what's on TV, G.I. Joe, of course.
I also didn't watch a lot of TV as a kid because my parents didn't want me to. I actually touched grass, as they say.
You had good parents. My parents weren't around. I was a latchkey kid. They were my parents were divorced, so my dad wasn't there. My mom was working, so single mom. You know, when the kids are at home from school or home all summer long. But I mean, I was just telling one of my middle sons, Daniel Jude, he's really into martial arts right now, and you know, he's got a fascination with Bruce Lee or whatever, and we don't even let him watch that stuff. But he and I watched Enter the Dragon the other day together. You know, so I'm like, I used to watch bad, you know, Hong Kong Kung Fu movies till 2:00 in the morning every Saturday night. Like just crazy, terrible, you know, goofy Kung Fu movies. That was like, man, we watched all the worst stuff all the time as a kid because there was no one around to tell us otherwise. Andrea, I watched a lot of anime series without knowing they were anime series. Heidi, Candy, Knights of the Zodiac, among others. I was never into anime. It's not my favorite. The one I watched was the anime version of Little Women.
Malcolm in the Middle is another one that I watched growing up.
Malcolm in the Middle. Little House on the Prairie. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
I watched
Little
that
House on
too.
the Prairie. I used to like Bonanza. Used to like Wild Wild West. Oh, who didn't love the Wild Wild West? It was like Star Trek, but in the West. Like all the, you know, the costumes and like, you know, the incognito and the spy stuff and the fantastic train that was so comfortable. Like, could you imagine traveling the country in a train like that? Yes or yes, I would love that. That'd be amazing. We should buy a train, James, and just do the radio show from the train across the country.
So does that mean we're bailing on like the Mobile Command Center Jeep plan that we've discussed, or the RV?
Why can't we put the RV on the train and we can do excursions along the way? You see? Like when we get to the Grand Canyon or someplace like that out west, we can stop the train, pull, you know, and do like the Wild Wild West thing. You know, where you dress up in secret costumes and pretend to be other people, just like in the Wild Wild West. How amazing would that be?
And how do you plan on funding this endeavor?
I thought you were independently wealthy. No?
Again, you told yourself that. I've never stated that once on
pretty
this show,
sure.
actually.
Chips. Oh, yes, Chips. Man, Chips. Good grief. Remember when what's his name from Chips, you know, ended up being an infomercial guy? What's his name? What was his name? God, I should know that guy's name. And my brain is gone. Don't get old. That's the answer. Yeah, I used to watch Chips. Gunsmoke, of course. Logan's Run. I watched a little bit. That wasn't my fave. Mike Douglas and Dick Cavett. Oh, the Hulk. What about the Hulk? How many people watched the Incredible Hulk TV show? Jacob says, I loved the late 90s and early 2000s show. Loved most shows on Boomerang, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Toon Disney. PBS was always cool too. Liberty Kids, Cyber Chase. Nicholas says, quick reads, shorter than Magnificas Humanitas. So you're saying that's the standard. That's the cutoff right there. It's like if it's 43,000 words, then it's not a quick read. It's definitely not a quick read. That's funny. That's super hilarious. Eric Estrada, thank you, Jane. Yeah, that's exactly who I was thinking about. Oh, the Munsters. I loved the Munsters. Who didn't love their hot rods? Their hot rods are pretty cool. I watched some YouTube videos on those hot rods not long ago. Dukes of Hazzard, that was one of my faves. I used to have a 45 album, you know, like not the full version, but the 45, just the single. Just the good old boys, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Like, man, I loved that. I would rock that thing. And you had to have that little yellow plastic piece to fit in the middle of it, or else it wouldn't fit on. I don't know why they didn't, like, because there were some that had like the bigger, wider, rounder thing, and there's some just a little metal, you know, nipple thing. Why didn't we just standardize this? You'd think some engineers would You know, they got 18 billion years of fancy mathematical education, but somehow, some way, we haven't decided. Just like recently, we didn't get the USB-C standardized thing until Europe sued Apple. Like, what are we doing here?
You're so willing to sing half the time, but then whenever I'm brought into it, all of a sudden you become shy, and I just want to know why that is.
Because it's your job to sing. That's in the contract. Point me
to that part of the contract.
It's there. Just Google it. It's right there. Just
Google it.
You can chat GPT it or whatever. I don't even know what the kids do these days, but it's there. Just trust me on it. Don't fact check it. Was a total lost in space nerd. You were MacGyver. Oh, I liked MacGyver. MacGyver was fun. Andrea says my dad loved MacGyver and we catched it. Sometimes it was fun. MacGyver was fun. All you needed was a paper clip and you could pretty much do whatever. Uncle Jesse, I can't even let my kids watch the Dukes of Hazzard though now. Honestly, with Daisy's attire, nah, I would never let my kids watch that show. Never, never, never. The Pretender, I've forgotten about that. 1996 to 2000, The Pretender. You know what show I used to like was like, now we're into like crime drama shows. What was the one that was about the math nerd? What was that one called? Like there were two brothers. One was an FBI agent and the brother was a professor at university. Math genius. I don't remember what that show was called, but I liked that show. That was a lot of fun. The Rat Rod. Yes, Jane. The Munster Rat Rod. Jacob says, when I was old enough to, my parents let me watch Dukes of Hazzard, Matlock. Heart to Heart. Who remembers Heart to Heart? That was like I wasn't really allowed to watch Heart to Heart. It was a little too mature, but I ended up watching it anyway because there was really no filter, not honestly. Did anyone ever watch Sliders? Nicholas says, Joe, do you have a piece of wood in your garage that has been there since Fred Flintstone was born, just in case you needed to whip it out and triumphantly when you needed it? Like Bam Bam? You mean like a stick like Bam Bam? Yes, I do. It was given to me personally by Moses. I've kept it all these years. Going way back, who watched Coal Shack? Coal Shack. I don't remember that one. Of course, Quantum Leap. I don't remember Sliders, but I do remember Quantum Leap. How many people watched Quantum Leap? And how many people were severely disappointed when they never tied the loose end at the end when it was all said and done? They never brought the guy home. It's kind of like ruining VeggieTales or something. It should be a crime. You should have to go to jail for these crimes, honestly. Jane says, Joe, that TV show cast was a Jewish family. The guy from Taxi was the father. No kidding. Who didn't love Quantum Leap? Quantum Leap was a great show. I really liked it. That's right up my alley. Nicholas says, I watched Disney XD and the old cartoons. I was also a Doctor Who and Next Gen watcher. Andy Griffith was great. Oh, yeah, Andy Griffith, of course. The Night Stalker, Cole Shack, was the investigative reporter of paranormal events, says Gus. Gus, welcome to the team. Sci-Fi is back. I refuse to call small sandwiches that because I insisted a slider is someone who travels across a Roth-Einstein bridge. You're saying you refuse to use the word slider for a sandwich because of your adherence, your loyalty to the television show? Is that your argument? Honestly, I want iCatholic Mobile, but it doesn't get coverage in my area. I'm sorry to hear it, Nicholas. And somebody asked earlier, I think it was who was it that somebody asked earlier whether or not Ontario, whether or not it was in Canada. It was Divine Intervention Ontario. You should contact them. I bet it does. Partridge Family. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Cagney and Lacey. I was never the biggest Cagney. What about Hill Street Blues? How many Hill Street Blues fans do we got here? Like that really gritty crime, inner city drama genre. Gerald McRaney was in that show with the guy who played his brother. Numbers, Cigar Mode, was that the name of the show that I was talking about with the brothers? Not one of them was a professor. It was called Numbers. I liked that one. Stay cool, Frankie. My dad was a huge fan of F Troop. I used to stay, says Tooth Twister. I used to stay up late and watch the Gary Shandling show, says Loris. Hello, 334. Alice, Different Strokes, Facts of Life, Three's Company. Different Strokes, I, of course, all of those shows I watched. Alice, the divorced mom who works at a diner. Telly Savalas, was that Telly Savalas in that? Someone look that up. Was that Telly Savalas in Alice? Or was that somebody else that was also bald? Sci-Fi says, are you kidding, Joe? The end was basically admitting that God was controlling the jumps, and Sam decided to never stop helping people, even when he had to fight Satan and his evil leapers, not lepers. Yeah, but they weren't going to do any more shows. Send the boy home. Is he okay? Like, it's an injustice, honestly, to leave an open loop forever on a show you're never going to make again. Or if they try to remake it, they'll only do a terrible job. No, sorry. Whoever owns the royalties for that should have to go to jail. Honestly, it's just not right. Nicholas, the only thing I remember from Adam West's Batman was the equal pay joke with Batgirl. Huh. Does anybody remember a cartoon called Hong Kong Phooey? Yes, I do. Hong Kong Phooey. Who remembers Hong Kong Phooey, the Kung Fu dog? Who remembers Mighty Mouse? Those were good ones. Pepe Le Pew was one of my faves. That was always a nice one. Man, how do we get down this rabbit hole of all the terrible, television we used to watch back in the day? My kids, the last couple of years, bought me a DVD of my two favorite TV series, The Waltons and MASH. Yeah, The Waltons, great series, very wholesome. You know what I didn't love about Little House on the Prairie, though? Like, the first couple of seasons were great, but then they just started getting worse and worse. And part of the problem was Michael Landon. He didn't want to pay the actress who portrayed his wife equal amount, and she was protesting. She felt she should have got paid more, so they started to write her out of the series. So her role became very diminished as the seasons went on. And they just told other stories without her. It was pretty terrible. It was like, are you that dumb? Like, the part of the magic here is you put this cast together portraying these characters. It's what your audience wants. And anytime you start to mess with that too much, clearly that's going to go badly. And it did. Sci-Fi says, I was all about Mighty Mouse, Godzilla, and Superman. You know what? My daughter married Therese. You know what her favorite television show is? We don't have actual cable news network. We don't let them watch things. Even though I'm sitting here rattling on about all these shows I grew up with, we don't really let them watch TV. When we do, it's curated by mom or dad on a phone. What we're gonna watch, what we're not gonna watch. But my daughter married Therese, my middle daughter. She absolutely loves Lucille Ball. And so she got as a present the entirety of the Lucille Ball, all the seasons, all the episodes on DVD. And she watches them all the time. She absolutely loves them. It's hilarious. And you know what gets me, James? We were there in New York in 2024 with my daughter, and you never even told us that the Lucille Ball Museum in her own hometown was not even that far away from Buffalo, New York.
I actually didn't know that myself.
You
So
failed to tell us this.
I fail at most things I do.
You could have.
So
You could have, but you chose. You made a choice. It was a style. You opted for it. Now she may never see that museum. I'm not saying it's
so
your
now
fault,
that we've established the fact that I ruined Joe's daughter's life, what else is in the
Thank you.
headlines?
I think you should have to sing as reparation for your crime.
Oh, of course.
That's what I
There's an
think.
ulterior motive.
That's what I think. I think we should do karaoke day at a Catholic Take. That's what I'm thinking. T Storm says there was a show that we watched, and I don't remember the actual name of it, but there was a bachelor who was raising his niece and nephew, and there was a butler called Mr. French or something, but we just called it the Buffy and Jody show because it was the name of of the kids. And yes, I had a doll just like the one Buffy had. I don't even what. I don't know. I don't know what that is. That doesn't ring any bells with me. Jane says, actually, a few episodes of Walton surprised me. One with what? Jane, are you serious? There was an episode of the Waltons with a Ouija board? You're kidding. You just ruined my entire childhood, Jane. Not you, but them. They did. That is the most insane thing. I would have not guessed that in 1,000 years. I don't remember that at all. That is crazy. God help them. Did you imagine forcing the kid actors to play with a Ouija board on set? You must be possessed to get to that point, I would argue. Family affair. The Buc-ee's mug is back, John Paul Sandoval, of course. Who doesn't take Vegemite vitamin? Not me. I know that much. Tooth Twister says Lucia Ball was a real pistol later in life. She was a real pistol all through life. How many people watched the movie that they made about her a couple of years back, starring Nicole Kidman? It was pretty good. Nicole did a great job. She really captured the essence of Lucille Ball. She did really, really good. The Beverly Hillbillies, of course. Yeah, that was on the agenda. Nicholas says, if only Joe had the perpetual youth of Ash Ketchum. Who's Ash Ketchum?
He's the protagonist on the Pokemon series, the original Pokemon series.
Oh, isn't that like a demonic thing?
No, I don't think so.
Isn't it? It's just demonic, isn't it?
Don't think so.
It's just like the Ouija board, but digital.
No.
I'm pretty sure it is. Don't you remember when that whole Pokemon artificial and reality thing, alternative, whatever came out, and everybody was walking around town with their phones like zombies?
You're talking about the original cartoon from the late 90s, early 2000s.
It sounds like you're making excuses for the demonic. That's what I'm just.
I don't know if that's what's happening.
Just putting it feels like Pokemon is of the devil, and you are suggesting otherwise. That's kind of how it smacks. What do the kids say? What are the kids? There's a phrase. Lands hard. I don't remember. Whatever the kids say. I need AI. Let's see if AI will help me through this crisis I'm having. How do modern? No. Let's do it this way. Let's just use the microphone. How do modern teenagers say something that is really impactful? What's the slang? Survey says, see if you get it right. Put your guesses in the chat box. Whoever gets it right, I will send you a book. How about that? I will give you a prize of some kind. So right now, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to put your guess on what the modern teenagers say when something has a big impact. Put it in the chat. I'm going to read it off. If you're right, and the first person to send me their email address or their mailing address, I'm going to mail you a prize. That's how it works. Okay? You ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give you a few more seconds. And I'm going to tell you what the very first response is here. Groovy, Alberto? I don't think the kids have been saying groovy since my dad was a kid. I'm going to be honest with you. Sick, says Alberto, as your second chance. Modern teenagers say based. Based is what Roxy said. People were getting knit by cars. Joe trying to get the Pokemon thing in the middle of the road. Exactly. All right. The first response on this list was hits different. Is that the appropriate, James? Would that be the appropriate? If you really want to emphasize like the impact of a statement, does it hit different?
I guess that's one of them. Yeah.
What do you spoke facts?
I was going to say they would just say facts or something like that.
Facts. Yeah. No cap was another option.
Yep.
Understood the assignment. That seems way too sophisticated for modern teenage language to me. Hot take. Come on. Standing on business. Truth nuke. Pop off. Other related hype phrases. Slay, served, based, Kenan event. I like that one. Core memory. Those are great. Those are great. Hits different. That was the winner. So if you said that, you better send me an email fast and with your mailing address, and then we'll hook you up. Maybe I'll send you a book. And that is for the Gen Z Alpha crew. That was their preferred, I guess, dictionary. I was close. I said it hits hard. Well, hello, send me an email, and maybe we'll mail you a prize just for playing along for fun. Fidelis, Wheelie and the Chopper Gang, and Grape Ape. Who remembers Grape Ape? Man, those were the days. Those were the days. That was All in the Family, wasn't it? All in the Family. Those were the days. C. Newton, kids are always locking in these days. Diane says, what is the age of these kids that use the slang? We're talking Gen Z and Gen Alpha. What age would that be, James?
Gen Z? Let's see.
What generation are you?
I'm the first year of Gen Z, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, I'm the very first year of Gen Z, 1997 to 2012.
There you go. The kids these days and the things kids say. I don't like. What did we say? What did I say when I was a kid that was so? What is it? I wonder if Gen Zers would say the same thing 50 years from now. They're gonna be like, you know what? I didn't say anything crazy. It was everything was normal. It was just.
I mean, I don't say that
speech.
stuff now, so probably not.
I don't know. We probably said something that was my parents thought was crazy or wild or whatever. Gen Zero says, Cano text. Are we still doing ACT bingo? Should we bring ACT bingo into the afternoon? We only did it during the morning show. Do you think we should play ACT bingo? Like today would have been a stellar day to have played ACT bingo because we've covered so much cultural ground today. But you know what we do need to do real quick before we run out of time, which will happen faster than you think, is we need to follow up on the big poll question for the day, and that is how many people think producer James should have to sing on the show. I'm scrolling backwards.
With the important distinction to be made that there was no option for no. Again, just clarifying.
I don't know what you. I was that like a foreign? Was that French? I mean, that sounded like a wee bit of French there.
Selective hearing at work.
I'm not sure what that meant, but anyway, should producer James sing "Welcome Back" to Joe? "Welcome Back" with Joe was the question, but clearly that's not the appropriate. It wasn't
so
worded
who gave
well.
you the right to decide?
That was
interesting how that works.
Well. In my defense, the guy who put the poll up works for the TSA and pats people down for a living. I'm just going to put it out there. Okay, so 80% say no, James should sing solo, which I think would be the appropriate response.
Who did you pay to vote for that, by the way? I need to know
pay?
names. I need names.
I didn't. EPA money was funneled through fake accounts to the tune of billions of dollars to Democrats, but I didn't pay anything. Never comes out of my pocket. Nicholas says Joe is being a Giga Chad unk and based. So 6'7", no cap. He's a canon event and a core memory.
My brain just melted reading that.
Main character vibes. That's all I'm saying. Main character vibes. You know what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? It hits hard. Now, what did the saying say? What is it? Hits different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Hits different. Yeah. Spoke facts. That's all I'm saying. Spoke facts. I should try to do an entire show. How many people with double? What would you do? What would you give if we would put an entire episode of A Catholic Take together, all speaking in this Gen Z language? The
I
entirety
would pay
of the
you
show.
not to do that, I think.
With the guest also speaking in the lingo. Could we pull that together?
And
That
which
would be-
guest is going to agree to this exactly?
I don't know. Somebody in your generation. We'd expect you to find them.
You might be able to ask Nick, I guess.
Does Nick speak the language?
I highly doubt it, but you might be able to convince him to if
Maybe
you're
we
in on
don't.
it too.
No, this is what we'll do. Okay, I got a better idea. We're gonna you'll stay in the studio, so you're welcome. Okay, you don't have to do this, but you'll have to man the ship.
How gracious.
You'll be in
of
the
you.
studio. We'll take Nick and we'll send him to a mall. He'll be the on the street reporter. And we'll have him on video, live feedback to the studio, and we'll have him interview Gen Zers in the Gen Z lingo. That's a winner. Like, I'll probably get an Academy Award or a Pulitzer Prize, or what do they give for? Do they still give radio shows award? I don't even know what the Golden Globe. I don't know. Oscar? Frank? I haven't the slightest clue, but we'll probably win something for that. It'll be like cultural. It'll be like a cultural, hits different, canon moment in society. They'll be like, whoa.
I don't know you as an optimist. This is very optimistic of you to say all of
Is
this.
Baller now out? Baller so yesterday. Producer, Nicholas's producer, doesn't have the Riz or main character vibes like Joe. Straight facts, all gas.
I'm going to have a stroke listening to this.
This is so good. I wish I could read an entire book in this link. I wish there was a way to translate something into this language.
I would pay not to hear it. I'm with cigar mode all day long. I would pay not to hear this.
Oh, we got to do something about this. This would be hilarious. What can I translate? We need something that would just be so much fun. How can I do this? Now there's a wheel turning in my head. The question is, how did we get it down this rabbit hole today? The question in my mind is, can AI translate something into the language? Now I'm super curious. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. And then we will go. We'll just do this.
Somebody said this is the brain damage episode.
This is the worst ACT after show in history of the show. Translate the attached. I am really curious. Translate, we'll say the first page of the attached into the lingo of Gen Z / Gen
Some of these
Alpha.
comments are absolute gold. We've triggered the squirrel in Joe's brain, says Eileen.
I'm so curious what this would even begin to sound like. Eileen, you're so right about this. Catherine Hunter, yes. Anthony Stein or Michael Hitchborn for what? For what? Flying Fickle Finger of Fate. I'm impressed if anyone remembers that reference. The Flying Fickle Finger of Fate. Okay, this is from chapter 1. This is from chapter 1 of my book, Catholic by Design, which is an apologetics book, by the way. Covenant Mediators. 1 blueprint, 6 covenants. Yo, imagine you just pulled up after 430 years of straight oppression in Egypt. You and your whole squad were born in chains, watched your kids get yeeted into the Nile like it was nothing. And you ain't never known a single day that wasn't getting absolutely clapped by an Egyptian whip. Then boom, In 10 earth-shattering plagues, the God of your ancestors straight up rips you feel and marches you out into the desert with a pillar of cloud and fire leading the way. Now what? Now you sit down in school, fool. Before God can turn you into a whole kingdom of priests, his royal family out here bringing his light to every nation, he needs you to know the story, not the Egypt arc, but the full lore that goes way back before Egypt even existed. I feel like it could do better than that. Like that's not enough. Like it needs to go full on translation mode.
I can just see some Protestant pastor somewhere watching this. Like, this is why you can't become Catholic. Just pulling this whole after show. Like, this is what happens to the Catholics.
Joe is totally responsible for everything wrong in the world today. I feel like I'm about to get that memo. Memo. Oh man. Well, it didn't hit different like I thought it was going to hit different. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like base no cap, canon moment, level, but it was really like I don't think Grok can figure it out. It was like, no, even I'm stumped by the Gen Z lingo. Even I can't figure it out. So who knows? That would be fun though. That would be it'd be fun to like read an entire chapter and like straight faced, never break character, pretend like it's normal and legit. That would be hilarious to me. It's my kind of humor.
My brain cells are fighting vehemently to stay alive, says John Paul.
So true, King. So true, King. Do they still say that? So true, King? Maybe they do. I don't know. We've triggered the squirrel. You have. Joel, you're always starting something. It's not us, it's you. And we love you for it. Well, Diane, you are amazing. God bless you. Catholic Warrior is back. Good afternoon. Clayton Lee, good afternoon. Praise be to God. Canotex, good to see you. I appreciate my channel members being on the team today. The brain damage is front and center today for sure. C New 10. Is this the post-conciliar ACT? This is let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya. We should, maybe we should do that. Worst Catholic entrance hymns. Can we do like a worst Catholic entrance hymns karaoke day? What do you think is the number one? The number one. I'll do the top 5. What do you think the number one worst Catholic entrance hymn is of all time? Leave it in the comments. What do you think it is? John Paul says, remember to pray for Brother Douglas. How is he? Do you know something? Is he okay? How's his health? Definitely pray for Douglas. Remicius. I forget exactly how he says. Every time I say it, I know I do it wrong. Eagle's wings for sure. Is that for sure? I'm not sure. On Eagle's wings. Gather us in, Canotex says. Leo is loving this episode, says C. Newton. Andrew, I'm glad you laughed. It's good to laugh. I feel like a good laugh today. Because otherwise I think I'd cry too often. All are welcome, says Hello334. Are all welcome exactly? Are all welcome? Not sure. Translate the Declaration of Independence into Gen Z slang. Jacob did that, I guess. All right. The top 5 worst entrance hymns, Catholic entrance hymns. Coming in at number 5 from Dan Shute, City of God. City of God, Dan Shute. Let me know if you've heard that one. Coming in at number 4, Sydney Carter on the board for Lord of the Dance. A folksy, cringeworthy solemnity of a Sunday Mass. I like that description. That's great. Coming in at number 3, frequently cited as a politically correct ballad that is liturgically weak, All Are Welcome by Marty Haugen. Mary, Did You Know is the worst sacrilege song in the history of the planet. There's no question. Coming in at number 4, known for clunky, awkward rhythm and repetitive verses that can feel endless. Dan Schutz, Sing a New Song. Sing a new song unto the Lord. And coming in up 4 spots to number 5, it's Marty Hagen and Gather Us In. Often criticized by traditionalists for shifting the focus from God to the congregation and right out the back door. Rock of Ages. Golly gee whiz. I don't miss those songs at all. Jacob says, the preamble to the United States, we, the main characters of the U.S., trying to form a more perfect squad, lock and justice, ensure the vibes stay immaculate, provide for the main defense, boost the collective grind, and secure the ultimate blessings of freedom for ourselves and for our future chat. Do hereby manifest and drop this Constitution for the United States of America, no cap. That hits different. It's a little better. That's a little better translate. Where did you translate that? That one was better than mine. Mine was like kind of a surface level. I need a deeper, more profound Gen Z version of my book. I should publish my entire book in Gen Z. Oh man, my mind just went blown. What if I publish a version of my book completely in Gen Z, Gen Alpha language? What if my book causes all of them to convert? That would be based, as the kids say. I'm okay with Be Not Afraid. Are you really? Def Leppard's version. You like Def Leppard's version? A Boomer Bishop in Detroit sang This Little Light of Mine playing the ukulele. Thank God it wasn't at my parish. You can't find it online for your listening pleasure. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine. When I was a kid, when I was in the Church of Christ, growing up in San Antonio after my parents divorced, my dad moved away. I was going to the MacArthur Park Church of Christ off Loop 410, and it was the Joy Bus that came to pick us up. And the Joy Bus was an old school bus that they drove around, picked us up from our houses, drove us to church Wednesday nights, drove us to church on Sundays, drove it and brought us back. And we'd have to sing on the Joy Bus. I got the joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Where? James, leave me hanging again.
You deserve to be left hanging after some of the things that have come out of your mouth today, Jim.
What does the guy got to do? Tooth Twister says, heard Dust in the Wind being played. Dust in the Wind? Really? Played after communion one day. Perked up my ears for sure. Joe, a whole new audience, says Joey Carter. I don't know, the Joy Bus. It was fun. Joy Bus. Good old days. Good old days. I'll never forget, though, being in Sunday school at MacArthur Park Church of Christ. I think it was MacArthur Park. Might have been a different Church of Christ now. It was like 85 billion years ago. I just remember the Sunday school teacher trying to tell me that heaven is precisely the dimensions that are referenced in the book of the Apocalypse. Of course, they said the book of Revelation, but like they literally, like there was no interpreting. It says it's this size coming down out of heaven. It must be that size. And I thought, heaven has a limitation? Okay, sure, if you say so. I just remember even then, it just didn't make any sense to me, but I was a kid. What did I know? Cigar Mode just got Edward Habsburg's Discovering the Latin Mass book. Nice. I should get him on the team. Who did he publish that with? Cigar Mode, was it Sophia? I've interviewed Edward a couple of times. I met him once in person, which was pretty amazing. We were in Rome. We were at Mass at the Fraternity Parish in Rome. Really enjoyed that. He's a great guy. Of course, he's no longer the Vatican ambassador from Hungary. I should check out his book. Dewey Rames. Or Knoxville Bible. I have a copy of the RSVC. That's nice, and avoid someone asking about which Bible translations are good. Joe, what about karaoke with Cardinal Togley? Now that would be a hoot and a holler, wouldn't it? Because he would know all the Marty Haugen songs. He probably has it memorized, the entire catalog, the greatest hits of Marty Haugen. He probably would mix it up too. Throw a little Dan Shoot in there. Marty Haugen, Sydney. It's going to be just a big pizza party. By the way, isn't he saying the beatification mass for Archbishop Fulton Sheen? Why? Why Togley for Sheen? Why not Burke? Burke's not available. No. Tobin, Supich. A lot of American Cardinals. Not much of them good, but there were other options. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks for the laughs.